Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury retrograde reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Also, just to remind you, do not respond to anybody in the comment box who is soliciting you, pretending to be me, saying that they will give you a reading. I am close to private readings. I will not be soliciting you at all. It's not my style. It's not the way I do things. So do not respond. Report them to YouTube and also let me know. Okay? Send me an email giving me a heads up. I'm trying to keep, ahead of everything, but life gets crazy. Okay. So with that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Oh, goodness. Leo. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Oh, goodness. Okay. These ones here. I love it. It's almost the whole reading just like popped out. Okay, I love that. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, and let's see what your chakra energy is for this time. Leo, how will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Okay, 4. Fantastic. So we have here inspiration with the sacral chakra, and we'll go more deeply into these in a moment. Then we have truth with the throat chakra. You have the throat chakra coming through. And of course, Mercury retrograde is all about communication. So if you stick to your truth here, you're going to find, Leo, that you walk forward with a real sense of self, with a real sense of purpose. Then we have Mother Earth, which is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. And then we have peace, the crown chakra. Now the left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see. We have the Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Earth. So the repeat of the number 8 here, Leo, says that you take this time internally very, very seriously. So you can take the miscommunications, you can take the kind of intensity of this time, you can take it really to heart. And Divinity is really saying here to be very mindful of taking it to heart and sitting there and saying, well, this person betrayed me, or, this person just didn't understand, or I did something wrong, because that's going to be another thing that you do. It's like, I internalized this, I did something wrong. And the High Priestess here is like, you're seeing beyond the veil of things. You're seeing more deeply, more succinctly, more powerfully. And that's going to be opening you up. So you don't want to sit there and kind of play the blame game, which, we're all so good at it. And here it's like, okay, well, how do I move forward? How do I get to be where I want to be? You have the 5 of Earth, the 5 of Pentacles. So your heart is coming out of a place of poverty. It can be that you just felt alone, overwhelmed. With the year that we've come out of, and of course, 2021 has begun rather intensely. And it's just coming out of that place of hurt and that place of pain. The 7 of Earth, the 7 of Pentacles is saying, be patient. You have the Page of Water. So you're definitely taking this gift as, you're taking it as a student, as a learner of what your heart wants, of what your heart desires. And you're rooted then in a gift from Divinity of the mind. You have Ego, which is the Devil card, okay, which represents Capricorn energy, December 22nd to January 19th. You have the Chariot, which is Cancer energy, June 21st to July 22nd. You have Life Experience, which is the Tower card, and this is intensity. This is like things falling down, and then you have it all coming on you. So, wow, the public arena is most definitely intense. It is powerful. It hits you right between the eyes, and it takes you by surprise. It just does. It takes you by surprise. This Mercury retrograde is going to take you by surprise. And the thing with this Mercury retrograde is that it's a calmer Mercury retrograde. So it's a really good way to start off this retrograde, to start off a retrograde within the year, because Mercury retrograde is in Aquarius, and Mercury retrograde feels very comfortable in Aquarius. It likes that spot. But the negative side of Aquarius is that Aquarius can be very aloof. So you can find people being very aloof, very kind of overwhelmed, very into their own world, into their own self during this time. You can also find yourself being rather aloof, rather overwhelmed by what needs to be done, and again, rather in your own world as you're moving forward. And that can make communication, that can make really letting things be seen very difficult. But also note that the pre-retrograde starts on the 15th of January. And if you are sensitive to the movement of the planet, of the stars, like I am, you can be feeling the effects of this Mercury retrograde, which is coming on the 30th, hitting us full force on the 30th. You can be feeling it right now. And that can be knocking you off your game. That could be making you sit there and being like, I don't understand why I'm having these arguments. I don't understand why everything isn't going smoothly. And that's because you're entering into the pre-Mercury retrograde time. And you're entering into this time where you're being tested. And what's really cool here is I was reading the astrologer Erin Sullivan, and what she said is that, and what she has discovered, is that the time we spend in Mercury retrograde is in retrograde and direct is equal to the time humans spend awake and asleep. So during this time, we are going to be taking stock of, during the Mercury retrograde, the instances that we have, the chaos that we have, is really our subconscious mind speaking to us. And it's the time that we've been spending asleep. It's a time that we need to, go deeper into what we want, what we desire, but also what our subconscious is saying we need to look at in order to elevate us further, because we can get caught in ruts. And with the repeat of the number 8, it's going to be very easy here. Yeah, it's going to be very easy, Leo, to be caught in ruts, to sit there and say, it has to be done like this. I've been hurt too many times in the past, and on my path forward, I'm not going to make those same mistakes. I'm going to be super logical. I'm going to be super determined. I'm going to be super focused, which people will actually take this as being rather aggressive during this time. And you're going to feel frustrated. You have 2 gifts coming to you in the spiritual realm, most definitely, because of the gift of the Ace of Cups, the gift of healing, and the gift of knowledge. Now, let's look at the energy that you need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Leo needs to be mindful of for Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that Leo needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Now there is this anxious feeling right now around me as I'm laying out the cards, as I'm speaking. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, make sure I get everything right. Like don't mess anything up. And it's like you want to vibrate with everything that needs to be done. And as I'm addressing it, I'm feeling this calm come over, especially in like my elbow area. And so just be very mindful of that. You're going to feel, and you're going to kind of be like tightening up your arms, like ready for everything that you have to do, or ready for the fights that are going to come. And it's like, release and embrace the peace, the peace that you desire. Stay on your path, stay in your truth, and you will find that things come forward a lot easier than you thought they would, but without the anger that you're expecting. So we start off with the moon. Now this is Pisces energy, February 19th to March 20th, but this is an energy of fear, doubt. This is a sense of the 2 aspects of human nature coming forward, and the tame side and the wild side, and sitting there and saying, where do I belong? What is it that I desire? And during Mercury retrograde, because it leaves us feeling rather vulnerable, and because we are coming out of, and we are, also still kind of in a very vulnerable time, you're going to find here that fear-mongering becomes something that you can almost be drawn to. It's kind of like, oh, but they understand. And it's like, okay, but if this person builds the fear within you, makes you feel more stressed, makes you feel more anxious, then that's something you're going to need to step back from. Because this is saying here that fear is important. Fear keeps us alive. It kept our ancestors alive. But also in our modern world, where things are so different from the hunter-gatherer time, or even just from 100 years ago, you're going to find that there's not a way to fight the fear like you would want to. And there's not a way to sit there and kind of understand the fear the way that we would want to. And yes, you can say, okay, you can understand it, you can break it all down, and you can sit there and look at it very logically, very spiritually, and give it a name and give it a reason forward. But that takes a lot of work, and that isn't something that we normally do when we're afraid of something. This is saying here, do not let fear, and do not let the fear of miscommunication, do not let the fear of being seen as somebody who's silly or, misunderstood hold you back, because there is a power that you need to embrace in order to move you forward to what it is that you desire. And fear is just going to kind of like hit the back of your knees so you fall down onto your knees, just knock you off your game. And then we have here Aquarius energy. Now, this is a time frame January 20th to February 18th. This is very much, this Mercury retrograde is all around the Aquarius time frame. And there is very much a sense here of the aloofness of Aquarius really being prominent within this time for you. So instead of feeling more of the spiritual awakening, instead of feeling more of the spiritual connectiveness, you can feel that people are being very aloof, because they're all very intricate, but also involved in their own lives, in their own selves, in what they want. And it can feel like a very selfish time. It could also feel like a very lonely time. So that's going to be something that you need to be mindful of, especially lonely times with fear added in. It's a bad combination. So here, Leo, if you stay towards your passion, and instead of saying, okay, I have to fight this, I have to work forward this way, and people have to understand what I'm seeing, to sit there and say, I need to move towards this truth. I need to know when my ego is getting in the way. I need to know when I'm getting, too overwhelmed and too much like I'm not going to let things fall apart. They can't fall apart like they have before. And so stepping back and saying, no, this is what I need. This is what I want. And bringing it back into perspective is going to be so powerful for you. It then leads you to the Queen of Cups. Now, this is emotional manipulation. Okay, this is somebody who gets into everybody else's business, tells everybody else how to live their lives without themselves embracing how to live theirs, or, fully. You might think, oh, they have everything figured out, and so they're giving me this advice, but it's not really advice, it's meddling. And you're going to find that this energy here is of somebody who's a bit of a gossip, who, feeds off of the chaos of others, feeds off of the doubts and the fears of others. And that's going to be something you need to be mindful of, because they're going to come forward during this time as somebody who's going to comfort, as somebody who's right there with you, as somebody who would say, you can tell me, I wouldn't dare, even dream of betraying your confidence, or, we're on the same side. And then you're going to see later on down the road that you weren't on the same side, that they used this as fuel, as fodder for themselves. And this is a time where you're also breaking a lot of chains, because your subconscious self, as you see the roadblocks that you're hitting along the way within this Mercury retrograde, your subconscious self is really coming to the forefront. And your subconscious self is showing you in the disconnects that we have during this time, in the misunderstandings that we have, in the chaos that is around us. It is pointing out in a very kind of bold and vibrant way what we need to focus on. The hurts, the pains, the lacks within our own lives, within our own selves. So this moves you here towards seeing a new dawn. And it's not because everything is going smoothly. It's because there are bumpy roads ahead. And you're looking at it and you're saying, I'm done with this. I'm done with the doubting my own worth. I'm done with the doubting of myself. I'm done with the chaos that is around me. I get to move forward in my truth, in my understanding, in my brilliance, in my wisdom. And I also get to leave behind a lot of the baggage that I've been carrying, that I've been raised in, that I've been carrying from past lives, that I've been carrying from, this life experience. And I'm not going to be defined by the past anymore. There's a new dawn. There's a new horizon forward, and I'm embracing this. You're also embracing the creative, sexual, powerful energy that is held within the sacral chakra, that gets pushed down because of the chaos of the world, because of the responsibilities that are placed on us, because we don't feel like there's a place for us to be genuinely who it is that we are. And this is a time where, communication seems topsy-turvy, but this is a time where you start embracing your truth. And you say, you know what? Whether people understand me or not, whether people see it as me living my truth or not, I am walking forward in the power of my truth, in the power of my understanding, in this greater reasoning, and I am balancing the scales emotionally and passionately, and I am opening up the doors personally and powerfully. And it brings you to the Earth Mother. It brings you to the Earth Star Chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. It brings you to a grounding. But it also brings you, especially when you look at fear, it brings you to the duality of Mother Earth, okay? So when we say Earth Mother, we always think of somebody so kind and caring and nurturing and sacrificing. But when we think of Mother Earth, and if you just take a moment to really think of Mother Earth, instead of being this beautiful, nurturing, powerful force, which she is, she's also this tremendously forceful, chaotic, terrifying force. She's tornadoes and hurricanes and, blizzards and just torrential rains. She's so much. She's fires and oh my gosh, she's everything. And so here, when we look at Mother Earth and we look at connecting with the earth, we look at connecting also with all aspects of our personality, of our soul, of what we desire. And instead of sitting there and saying, there's no part for that part of my personality to come forward, it's saying, like nature, there are a multitude of forms of me. There are a multitude of ways that I am embracing my life and seeing myself. And I can't deny me. As long as I come from a place of love, peace, and harmony, I can see myself move forward into greatness. And that's what brings you to being crowned in peace, being crowned in love, in compassion, in understanding, in beauty, in harmony, in the sense that there is more out there for you than what you're initially seeing or expecting or anticipating. And that's going to be where you are crowned and why you are crowned with the Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups, because there's this healing that Divinity is bringing you, and there's this sense of drinking deeply and being inspired by it. So as you look at your inner self, there's a gift that's coming in. There's a different way of seeing things. There's a different way of looking at things. There's greater questions being asked. There's greater power moving you forward. And as you drink deeply of this cup, you're going to see that a lot of the emotions that were holding you back, a lot of the doubts, the fears, the angers, the upsets, the misunderstandings, the things that we hold within our heart and say, oh, I can't believe I was such a fool. I can't believe I messed up that way. You're going to find them being released. And as they are released, because this is a time when the subconscious mind really comes forward, okay, this is going to be a time where you're tested. And it's tested through trickery of words. It's tested through uncomfortable situations, or looking at things more deeply, or something that triggers a memory or a thought. And you're going to need to call on those healing waters to move you forward. And you're going to need to look at that healing and say, okay, instead of being reactionary to this, because it will be very easy to just kind of react and fly off the handle, or, to take things very, very personally and add to the wounds that we already have as individuals. It's going to be really important here to step back and say, okay, maybe I didn't conduct myself the best, but I'm not going to embrace hurt over healing. And that becomes a very powerful point for you during this time, because with the Eight of Water, you start to move. You move away from what you once thought you would love. And within your inner self, you could be looking at things and saying, well, why isn't this satisfying me the way that it once did? Why aren't I getting the fulfillment that I had gotten before from this way forward, from this person, from this career, from this act, from what I thought I wanted? And now it's time to change things. It doesn't mean that we have to change partners or careers. It can be that we change our outlooks. And so with the Eight of Water, with the Eight of Cups, you find yourself walking away from what you once thought you would love. You find yourself either broadening up the definitions, pushing the envelope a little bit more, sitting there and being very connected, very introspective, very much, what do I need? Not what is expected of me, and what is it that I think that I'm supposed to do? What do I need to move me forward? And then that really helps you embrace what you have been building within your life with the Eight of Earth. Because you have been building, you have been planting, you have been harvesting, you have been working so hard, you've been, bloodying your fingers, moving towards exhaustion at times. And it's like, what have I been working towards? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? Who is it that I am? And so with the Eight of Pentacles here, you find that your hard work pays off. You find that taking this leap of faith almost and saying, what do I need to leave? That I might have thought, oh, I'd never leave this. I'd never leave this way of succeeding. I'd never leave, this way of looking at things. And now you're finding that you need to open up the door, because you're calling peace forward, but you're also calling the force of your personality, the force of what you desire forward. And you're going to see here that it becomes challenging at times, because things are going to get tripped up. You're going to be sitting there working on something, and somebody's going to come in and make you feel terrible about what you're working on, make you question yourself, make you think that you're, in the wrong field, or that you haven't done enough, or that, you haven't achieved what you were supposed to achieve in this time in your life. And it's like, no, stop it. Look at everything that you have done. Look at everything that you have worked for and worked towards, and keep on moving forward. Don't be comparing yourself to everybody else, because that's just going to knock you completely off your game. Look at your work, look at your time, look at your effort. And then with this understanding, you start to see behind the veil of things. You start to see things more openly. You start to see things more honestly. You start to look at it and you start to be like, oh, well, there's more here than I realized. And as you look behind the veil, you also look behind the veil of yourself. And that's why Mercury retrograde can become so uncomfortable for us, because in your inner self, you have this beautiful gift of healing, of deeper spiritual knowledge. And then you have this beautiful gift of the High Priestess saying, there is more here than you realize. And the battle that you're going to have internally during this Mercury retrograde is what you think you're supposed to do in the here and the now. Okay, and what your soul is calling you to do, how your soul is calling you to move forward. So it doesn't mean that you have to go and change everything all at once. It means that you start to kind of break things up into little pieces and say, how do I start? Where is it that I need to be? How is it that I start looking at this differently? And how do I call this prosperity forward for me and into what it is that I desire? But as you're seeing behind the mask for yourself, you're also seeing behind the masks for a lot of other people. And you're seeing the lies that they hide behind. You're seeing the overwhelming emotion that guides a lot of people forward, that guides everybody forward. We all have, tremendous emotions that guide us, that can be, pushed and can be manipulated to get us to do what others want us to do. And so here you're seeing that. You're seeing that openly. You're seeing that honestly. And you're looking at this deeper power, this deeper understanding that is opening up the doors to you. So in the midst of this chaos, you might find yourself really moving forward with a spiritual understanding towards a deeper truth, towards this grounding, towards this peace that you thought would elude you forever. And it leads your heart here with the five of Pentacles. You're crowned with feeling like a pauper. Okay, you're crowned with feeling on the outside of wealth. Now, it's either financial wealth or something you value as much as money. This can be a time where you see a lot of what you lack coming forward and thinking, oh my gosh, that's just where I am. Like, I'm not going to get to where I want to be. It's always going to be a struggle. And here's the thing. It's not. It's not always going to be a struggle. Sometimes we have struggles come forward in our lives. And we have heartbreaks, we have pains, we have disappointments, we have terrible things happen, okay? And it's what we do after those terrible things. It's what we do after the heartbreak, after the devastation, that defines us, that really speaks of our character. So you might have felt barred on the outside of wealth. You might have felt like you were raised at a disadvantage. You might have felt like things that you have gone through put you behind the 8 ball, put you behind other people. So you might have looked at things, Leo, and really felt not as good as everybody else. Felt like, at times you could be a bluster, a bluff, or an empty show, And that's one of the things, and it's a poem, and I forget who says that. But they say, I have to be fit for myself to know. So I cannot be a bluster, a bluff, or an empty show. And that's going to be one of the things that's so powerful here, is that you look at people and you can see behind the mask. So it's not like you can't see that they could be just like you, or they could even be less spiritually aware, or less, focused on what's truly good for the world and for, peace and harmony moving forward, but that they still make it. And it's like you're still struggling. And so here with the 5 of Pentacles, it's looking at the struggles. It's looking at the ways that the world has held you back, because you will see a pattern. And during Mercury retrograde, when we see this pattern, all right, we will usually see it in the troubles that we have to face, because again, the subconscious is bringing things forward that consciously we'd rather not look at, and it makes you feel as if I can't be where I want to be. But this is a time where you start to reevaluate things and say, it's enough. It's enough of being kept from where I'm supposed to be standing. It's enough from being denied what it is that I truly love. It is enough of coming to things from a place of lack. And that's also where you're embracing the inspiration of the sacral chakra, and you're releasing yourself from the generational curses, from the negativity that was spoken over you, from your parents, from whoever raised you, from, the experiences that you had, the lovers that you had, the people that you trusted, that you just shouldn't have trusted. And you're going to see here, or the way that you thought about yourself, because people teased you, people mocked you, people made you feel insignificant. And it made you feel as if everybody else was worthy of prosperity, just not you. And the 5 of Pentacles here, it's like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I have a gift bringing me forward. And no longer do I get to be barred from what is rightfully mine, from the fact that the God's head lives within me, from the fact that there is stardust, flowing through my veins. I get to seize the moment. And it's going to be a scary thing for you, Leo. It's going to be a thing where you might feel emotionally overwhelmed, or you might feel as if, it's just not right, it's just not time, and like too much. It's going to feel at times during the Mercury retrograde, and just during life in general, but definitely during this time, it's like if one more thing is added, everything will fall apart. Like, I just can't. It's like when putting away your laundry becomes too much. And you sit down and you look at it and you're like, okay, logically, this should not be too much. But you can't bring yourself to do it because it's just that one extra thing that becomes too much. And so here, that's what your heart is facing during this time. So you're going to try and counteract that with being very logical, with being very, strict with yourself. But you also have to be very caring, very emotionally understanding. Don't cuddle, but also don't push. So it's going to be that beautiful balance that is needed. And then it moves you to the 7 of Earth. It moves you to understanding that divinity is saying, be patient. Be patient, because what is coming is not in your time, it's in divine time. And as you open up the door to what it is that you need and you want, you can see the hard work that you've put in that come to pass, years down the road. You can see facing the fears and the doubts and the angers and the upsets, really, really looking at it, and saying, okay, this is what I have to face. This is what needs to be looked at. You can see the benefit of that now, most definitely, but also in divine timing. So it's going to be almost when you least expect it that it comes forward. And Spirit is saying here, be patient. Be patient, because the bounty that comes and the power that comes can take your breath away, can be overwhelming, can be beautiful, but it's also going to be slow go. And I love how, the 7 goes into the 8 counts down into the 7, and you have 2 sevens here. So you have this very, kind of stern, disciplinary, number 8 coming forward. It's like, okay, just focus, just work really hard. You also have sacred feminine energy coming forward, which balances out the number 8 really quite beautifully. You have the repeat of the number 7. This is why with the throat chakra, truth is going to be so important to you. Speaking your world into existence, speaking your truth forward, balancing things. And then you have the Page of Water, where it says here, it says intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. You are being a student of what your heart desires, of the way your inner self and your emotional self need to work together in order to get you to where it is that you want to be, what it is that you're facing during this time. You're facing some uncertainties, and we see that definitely with the 5 of Earth. Uncertainties about the way that you're supposed to move forward, about what it is that you desire, about what it is that you're looking at. And as you face these uncertainties, you start to be a student of, well, what feels right? What is it that my heart needs? What is it that my soul needs? What is it that's holding me back? What is it that's denying me my truth? And where is it that, things are getting overwhelmed, or, I'm losing sight of what I love and what I need and what's important to me? Because if you step back and say, does this bring me peace or chaos? Does this make me feel centered, or does this make me feel lost? That is going to be the best way to traverse this time. And you might sit there and say, okay, but Dane, work makes me feel lost, or, my partner can make me feel lost, or my best friend can make me feel lost in chaos. What do I do then? Well, then you kind of like step back. You might be embracing a bit of the aloofness yourself, most definitely, but you step back and you see what it is that your heart needs, and what it is that emotionally is not resonating, is not jiving with where you are right now. And so that becomes a very powerful thing. And then you look at it and you study it. Now, it might be telling you that it's time to move on. Like, you might be telling you with certain things, like it's time to reevaluate, job. It might be telling you it's time to reevaluate certain situations. And as you're reevaluating them, it doesn't mean you have to leave today. What it's saying is like, set up what it is that you want and see how you can build towards that future. And then you have with the Ace of Air, you have God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine universe, handing you this gift of knowledge. You have the repeat of the number 1. You're very determined, very stubborn, very, very much a go-getter during this time. And you're very much that anyway here, Leo. So it's just really bringing forward that you are a leader, not a follower. And so with the Ace of Air, you have this gift of cutting through doubts and fears, of seeing, how to soar forward in your knowledge, seeing the brilliance that is your mind. And it's that brilliance of mind connecting with the heart, but also seeing where mentally and emotionally you feel stuck, where you can sit there and say, that's where the scar came from. And you might be looking at one thing, okay? You might sit there and say, that's where the scar came from. And you could be looking at relationships, or you could be looking at money. And then all of a sudden, as you're looking at it, as you can be, journaling with your spirit, with your spirit guides, or, with divinity, or as you're, talking things out, depending on if you're a journaler or if you're a speaker, it doesn't really matter. As you're working things out, you can start to see a pattern. It's like, well, I'm always underappreciated. I always have to work so hard just to even get the least bit of acknowledgement. And so then there starts to be a shift, because you start to see that not only in the workplace, but you start to see that in relationships. You start to see that in friendships. And you start to say, enough is enough. Like, I'm done with that. I'm over that. That cannot be my world anymore. And it moves you into this knowing. And it moves you then in the public arena from a place where, yes, you embrace ego. You're looking at things, because Mercury retrograde really brings out the ego in each and every one of us. It really does, because we want to be understood. We want to be heard. We want things done the way that we want them. And we can throw little hissy fits as everything gets muddled up, and as we, don't understand what's going on, and as we feel out of control. And retrogrades make us feel a bit out of control. So the ego comes forward. And as you're looking at things and you're seeing the pattern, now it can go into the ego. It can either go, wow, these people just don't understand me. I'm too brilliant. I'm too, this or that. And they just don't get it. I mean, I know, I've done that before. We all do that, where it's like people just can't understand how amazing I am, right? And then we need to step back again, because it's like, okay, well, that's saving us. What is it that I need to see? What is it that, if I take my ego out of this, comes forward? And it can be that really behind everything, it's just like, you're so scared. You're so scared. You're so overwhelmed. You're not sure the steps that you want to take. You're not sure if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And just even the idea of making a decision becomes too much. And that's when we kind of insulate ourselves. We kind of surround ourselves with stuff. We surround ourselves with, things to keep us busy, or just mindlessly sit there and scroll through our phones or watch things online and think, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. I know I have a lot to do, but I can't handle it right now. And so the ego comes in and the ego takes over. And even when we're not doing anything about it, it's because the ego has come in and said, oh, well, you really can't right now. This is too much. And you're going to see yourself releasing yourself from the ego, Leo. And as you release yourself from the ego, you embrace tremendous strength. You start looking at the way that you want to move forward, what it is that you're moving towards. You also start to see a level of skill to you that you haven't seen before. And you're going to find that when people try to manipulate you using your ego, as you kind of use the touchstone of what brings me peace, what brings me harmony, how is it that I move forward in this greater understanding, you start to see yourself breaking down the barriers that were around you, breaking down what has held you back, and start moving forward towards the embrace of the two aspects of yourself, of the day and the night, the tamed and the wild. And you start saying, I get to be me, but I also get to see that I am more skilled, more forceful, more determined than I thought I was. And that leads you then to looking at the chaos. Everything in the public arena, it seems like all roads lead back to chaos. And that's going to be something that is upsetting at times, Leo, but it's also going to be something that's very freeing. Because as you look at the chaos that is around you, as you look at things that have happened over a 16-year period, or better, or a 16-month period, you start to look at the chaos that has been a part of your life. A chaos, that you've accepted. You think, oh, that's just it, isn't it? That's just the way I move forward. That's just my life. And this is divinity pushing you out of your comfort zone. So this was divinity coming in and saying, things have to change. You're not changing them. I'm going to. Or even if you were changing them, no, you have to take this road. And if this blindsidedness doesn't come in, if this rock bottom isn't hit, you would never, ever, ever in a million years find yourself walking this road. And this road can lead to potential partners. This road can lead to success, prosperity, abundance, but you will never take it if divinity didn't throw you this curveball, didn't knock you off your feet and say, now what? And so here you're looking at it and it's like, now what? How do I rebuild? And the main way that we try to rebuild is through force, through anger, through stubbornness. And there is a level of stubbornness that is needed and a level of force and even a level of anger that is needed in order to have us, with, spit and griddle, put things back together. But it's saying, it's not looking at life anymore as a series of unfortunate events. It's sitting there and saying, chaos has come in and chaos has visited my life as it will visit everybody's life. It has changed the course of things. And it has made me more than what I ever expected. But it did not break me. And even if it did break you, because Lord knows, there are times where the chaos comes in and you just feel devastated and you just can't stop crying. You just can't look at it and sit there and say, okay, there's a lesson in everything. There's just anger and there's rage. And even when you look at it years later, there will still be that level of anger. But it's also that sense of, I walked through this storm. I was forged. And all the parts of me that could have broken, that could have just evaporated into nothing. They were seen. They were acknowledged. And I moved forward from there. And I did not lose sight of me. So this Mercury retrograde brings up a lot in you. Leo, it's more than you bargained for. And it's a test. It's kind of like, are you sure that you want to head in this direction? And you can say no. You can sit there and say, no, Divinity, I can't walk that road. And that's fine. That's absolutely up to you. But if you sit there and say, yes, I will be, and I see more clearly, I see more openly, I see more honestly, you really do. And you're rooted in being a king. You really do walk the path of kings. You walk the path of prosperity, success, abundance. Here it says motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. And that's what you are. There's a way that you pull things together, that you pull people together, that you pull yourself together, and you move forward with ferocity. And because this is a time where you see a lot of the chaos that has happened to you throughout the years come forward, and you see a lot of yourself, a lot of things testing you during this time. You look at what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and you open up that door. You open it up to your truth, to your power, and to saying, there's so much more here than I ever even realized myself. But you have to be prepared, Leo, for the anger to come in. This sense of frustration, this sense of feeling manipulated, okay, this sense of, why can't it just be an easy road? And it's because it never is for anybody. I mean, people want to make you think like, oh, it was so easy, it was so fun, it was so great. And we have this whole world of images and everything to make everybody envious. But it's never as easy as people make it out to be. It's always so much harder. Even being in love is so much harder. It takes work and time and effort, and it can feel like a job at times. Even doing what you love. At times you don't love it. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here. I just want to hide away and bury myself under the blankets. That's what you're going to be feeling during this time. And it's looking at it and it's saying, if I can come through it, okay? If I can keep believing in me, one foot in front of the other, looking and being a student of what it is that I desire, and looking at what I love, and looking at the blessings that Divinity is giving me, and finding out that I am breaking the chains that were put around me. I am breaking the generational curses. I am breaking the poverty. I am breaking the addiction. I am breaking the anger, the frustration, and I am embracing love and laughter and brilliance and success. That redefines everything. So let's go deeper. Leo. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. Ooh. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. And let's look here at the energy that will be aiding you during this time, because this can feel like a very bumpy road. Okay? What is the energy that will be aiding Leo during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that will be aiding Leo during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. So here we have the Hermit turning inward. This is Virgo energy, time frame August 23rd to September 22nd. This is turning inward. This is connecting with your inner self, connecting with your peace, connecting with nature, connecting with your truth, connecting with your inspiration. It's all your chakra energy coming forward, and it's letting it be the guide for you. It's letting yourself listen to you, what you deeply, spiritually, and powerfully want. And then it leads you to the Prince of Cups. It leads you to this person, to this energy, not this person, but to this energy that defends, that stands in its truth, that slowly and steadily moves forward, not saying how much can I get out of this, like what's in it for me, but what do I love? What do I need? What do I want? What is part of my soul? And then you have the Queen of Wands. You have yourself coming forward. It's the rolling up your sleeves. It's going after what you desire. It's the passion. It's the fire that burns bright. It's the unexpected, aid and also insight that comes to you. We have here unity, the Two of Cups, the Eight of Cups. So again, in the inner self, you're walking away from something that you once never even imagined that you would walk away from. It can be an idea. It can be, a certain way of looking at things. You're saying enough is enough. And it is. It's more than enough for you. There's the Magician in your heart. The Five of Wands. Wands? Is it wands? The Five of Coins. Yeah, so you have the Five of Coins there in your heart here. So as you have the magic coming in, the prosperity, the abundance, there's also a sense of poverty. There is a sense of lack. And then you have the Three of Pentacles coming forward. And that is what you have created, what you have been working on. And there is just this need here to really address what is taking away, what almost seems like as soon as you have it, it's gone. And yeah, there's something deeper that you are looking at here. We have the 10 of Summer, the 10 of Cups, and they all live happily ever after, the Prince of Spring, which is the Prince of Wands, you as a student, and the Four of Autumn, the Four of Pentacles. There's vampiric energy here that kind of wants to rob you of your happiness, or that energy that comes in that makes you think, I can't be as happy, as prosperous, as bountiful as I want to be. There's the repeat of the number 5, so you're going to find yourself coming to an end of a cycle. Okay, it's not necessarily an end of a cycle, but you're going to be freeing yourself from a chain that has been around your neck. And you're going to find that it's easier than you had expected. Now, you might have thought that it was going to be terribly difficult. So it being easier doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. Unity. With the gift that's coming in and what you're walking away from, they complement each other. They complement each other as you move forward. The Two of Cups, this is love coming in. Healing, beautiful love over, okay, the hard work, the pain, the discipline that you have had to really enforce within your life to get you to where it is that you want to be. And this is healing, this is love, this is harmonizing, and it moves you to the Eight of Cups, to, again, walking away from what you once thought you would love, as you see deeper into what it is that you want, into your way forward, into what it is that you desire from your life. There is something that you're going to sit there and say, I can't do it anymore. I can't stomach it anymore. I can't be that. And what's more important, I don't want to be. And then there's the magic that comes forward. There's the power that comes in. It's standing before the altar of your existence, as above, so below, as I believe it, so it becomes. And so here, it's really knowing that things happen in divine time, and it's walking away from that poverty. And what that means is it's like, I walk away from what I cannot control. I move away from what has made me feel small and insignificant and powerless, that has robbed my voice. And I stand knowing that I am blessed, knowing that I am more prosperous than I realize, knowing that there is power and greatness within me. I have to claim it. And your heart needs you here, Leo, to claim it, especially during Mercury retrograde, where at times you can really feel like you're losing the power of your voice, as if you're on the outside of what it is that you're learning, what it is that you love, what it is that you desire. And so again, you need to knock on that door. You need to, embrace that help, embrace that way forward. Even if it's just from your spirit guides, it becomes something very powerful, very redefining. And you start to see the ambition around you. You start to see everything that you've worked towards, and you're cutting through the doubts, the fears, the anger, the negativity, to embrace the prosperity that guides you into more, into the place that you always wanted to be. It moves you from the ego being detrimental to the ego being guiding. It's like, okay, this is what my ego wants. This is what I greatly desire. Why? Why is that? And so then you move forward with your heart's truth, and you start to get what it is that you truly love, what it is that you truly want, what it is that you truly need. And you start to see yourself walking forward with pride and with dignity of self and with this determination, because so much has been brought to the forefront, so much has been dealt with. And it's kind of like, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. And the Prince of Spring, the Prince of Wands, this is you. This is you sitting there, moving forward. And it says here, charming, self-confident, passionate, and restless. You need to take action. You need to move forward towards what you want, towards what you desire, towards where it is that you are. And as you do so, you open up the gates for yourself. You start to open up your world. And it's as everything has crumbled down. It's like, I will not be held back. I will not be denied. I will not be kept silent. I will move forward, and I am moving forward. And as you do so, you're looking at the energy that has drained you from being a king, from standing your ground, from taking in your blessings and taking on your blessings. And you're saying enough is enough. Now, these could be the energies that drain. Now, this can be, drugs and alcohol and gambling. I am seeing them as these sort of things. These can also be people who sit there and just leech away our energy, thinking, oh, well, you have plenty of it. You seem so happy all the time. I can just take that. And they're not seeing how much you fight for where it is that you stand. And so here, they can be external, they can be internal, but you're really breaking yourself from a pattern of not having your cup filled because of things leeching it away. And as you see this, and as you claim your strength, you move forward. You move forward to the place that you need to be. And this Mercury retrograde brings forward so many things that need to be addressed, that your subconscious is saying, this is going to trip you up. Yes, but if you can conquer this here in a kind of safe space, then you're on fire and nothing can hold you back from here on forward. Let's see what your spirit guide animals have to say. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Leo be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. Fantastic. Here we have the parrot spirit. Watch your words, especially during Mercury retrograde, when words can get jumbled, misunderstood, when everybody's interpreting things their own way. Watch your words. Be very, very careful of not only how you speak to others, but also how you speak to yourself. Then we have the sandpiper spirit. It says be playful. Be playful. Let in joy. It's going to be very detrimental to you if you're like all work and no play. It starts to take away a lot of the vibrance of existence. And then we have the chameleon spirit. Act as if. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Come from your truth. Come from the center of yourself, but act as if. Act as if you know. Act as if you have the answers. Act as if you are easily embracing this power that is a part of you. Because it might not be easy at all, but they don't have to know that. Your subconscious spirit guide message is the turtle spirit. It says slow and steady wins the race. And that's a really big part of the heart fight here. Slow and steady wins the race. There's a lot of you Leos that are sitting there and thinking, I haven't done this in this time frame or that time frame. I'm not going to get to where it is that I want to be. And Spirit is saying here, yes, you are. Slow and steady wins the race. Trust me. Your subconscious person message is the King of Wands. This is you. Passionate, powerful, determined. You've come through twice now as a king. And this is you moving forward in that passion, claiming that passion, going after what it is that you want, not being afraid to get your hands dirty. You keep on moving forward. Your subconscious chakra message is psychic development, the third eye chakra opening up. That's why you have the high priestess here. That's what's moving you away from what you thought your path would be or what you thought was right. And now with the third eye opening, with the psychic development coming forward, you're seeing things more clearly, more openly, more honestly, and you're seeing yourself move forward towards what is truly needed during this time, what you truly need. Then you have your subconscious tarot message. And that's the Four of Earth. That is that vampiric energy coming forward, stealing away your prosperity. And it can be, again, in any aspect. It can be, addictions. It can be doubts. It can be fears. It can be, clutter of the mind, clutter of your space. It can be people. You're looking at it and you're saying, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm done. And subconsciously, that's one of the reasons why you're hitting so many roadblocks during this time, because Spirit is saying, it's time to walk out of the shadow. And as you walk out of this shadow, you then go deeper into the subconscious message. And it's the Five of Spring. It's the Five of Wands. You're leaving behind chaos just for the sake of chaos. You are finding order. You are finding discipline within yourself. And you are finding that if every single day you focus on one thing that you need to move you forward, one thing that kind of makes everything else clear, that changes the game. And that brings a joy and a prosperity to you that is amazing. All right, Leo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as you embark on this new path. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo.